With the release of its first season back in 2014, it didn't take long for Outlander to become a flagship title for the Starz network. And with an incredible cast, coupled with some dramatic story arcs, there's no doubt that the upcoming 6th season is highly anticipated. That's not the only reason for recent Outlander headlines though, so stay tuned. Number 1. Lauren Lyle speaks out about the newest installment of the Outlander franchise. First up on our list is a headline that broke the news cycle a few days ago and has resulted in fans theorizing heavily about the future of Marsali and the love of her life, Fergus. We are, of course, talking about the statements made by Lauren Lyle over the weekend when talking to Radio Times. When asked about what fans can come to expect from the happy-go-lucky couple come season 6, the actress who portrays Marsali had the following to say. Marsali and Fergus have always been this fun, romantic couple. Young, cool, like the ones that make people laugh, and are just really in love with each other and have all these kids. This time, it just got really deep and really dark. They're at their most tested. In other words, it looks like season 6 is going to be bringing a bit of a tonal shift the relationship between Marsali and Fergus, something which, in our opinion, is much needed. More often than not, the couple has been shown as a form of comedic relief when things have looked tough between Claire and Jamie. And avid series watchers will know just how important comedic relief is when dealing with dark and terrible arcs involving crimes like murder and sexual assault. It's what allows the viewer not to be left in a pit of despair about their favorite characters when faced with a horrible situation. But now that Marsalis and Fergus will be facing their own problems, fans have come to wonder which character or couple would be able to replace them throughout the runtime of season 6. Could it be that Claire and Jamie have a full season of bliss ahead of them? We doubt it, considering what Claire is recovering from. Lyle had the following to say about the troubles that the couple will be facing in the upcoming installment of the franchise. It's the most tumultuous time we've seen them and their relationship in. Marsali really has this season. It's the first time you see her having to step up, and she's sort of supporting the family and dealing with her own needs. This could really only mean one of two things though. Either Marsali discovers that Fergus has been seeing someone else on the side, resulting in the lovebirds splitting and Marsali having to go out and make a living for herself, or something's going to happen to Fergus that results in him being unable to work and support his family himself. We really hope that the showrunners don't come to paint Fergus as the bad guy though. As we mentioned earlier, their relationship has always been a light and dark times, and if it comes out that Fergus has been cheating on Marsali the whole time, it goes without saying that fans are not going to take it well. In other words, we'd much prefer something to happen to Fergus, with Marsali having to replace him as the breadwinner. There's no doubt that this would result in a lot of drama and tension between the couple, and while no doubt it'll be a tough time for both Marsali and Fergus to get through, this arc will allow for the lovebirds to stay strong and show us that they're more than just cheap comedic relief. This is the time for the writers of the show to give some depth to two fan favorite characters, and we just really hope it's going to do justice. And as it turns out, it's not just Lyle that believes the season 6 of Outlander is set to be one of the darkest yet. Executive producers Matthew B. Roberts and Meryl Davis have also repeated similar statements on the official Outlander podcast, which has blown up over the years as a means of exploring behind-the-scene moments and headlines directly from the mouths of the cast and crew of the show. In their own words, certainly this season we've had a lot of moments. There are some very traumatic and very emotional times. It's a difficult season for Jamie, Claire, and everyone, so it looks like fans are going to have to prepare themselves for some dark times ahead. Number 2. Sam Heughan has excited fans with his recent announcement, but it's not all doom and gloom ahead. In fact, Sam Heughan has given some fans hope with the recent announcement regarding the work he has been doing from the set. For those of you who are terrible with names, Sam is best known for his portrayal of Jamie Fraser in the Outlander universe, essentially making him the leading man of the franchise. And since he's one of the primary reasons for men and women to watch the show due to his incredible acting chop and ability to, well, drop our jaws with his immaculate looks, it goes without saying that he has a pretty large fan base. So when he announced that he would be making his very own Scotch whiskey to sell, fans couldn't help but get excited. Scotch whiskey from a world-renowned Scottish actor? What could be better, right? Well, unfortunately for Heughan, things didn't exactly get out to a perfect start. Although fans were more than happy to show their support for the actor and buy as much of the Scotch whiskey as possible, worldwide shipping problems due to the effect of the coronavirus pandemic ground everything to a halt. Slowly but surely, the fans forgot about the product that was on offer, resulting in the venture becoming one that was close to failing. But then Sam went on to announce that these difficulties had been overcome and that the Sansanach Spirit of Home Edition, as the alcohol has come to be called, will be available for purchase on September 7th. This release date was communicated by the man himself on his official Instagram page, on which he posted a video of the product along with the caption, "It's coming home." A terrible reminder for the English fans who chanted the same statement back during the 2020 Euro Championship. But what a sweet sentiment for everyone else across the globe. soap. And just like that, fans were back on board, with many responding to the announcement with more than a fair share of thirst. One joked that she would most certainly be buying a few bottles if Sam was going to be delivering them himself, while another stated that the announcement was perfect considering how it was her birthday. Since the holiday season is literally just around the corner, we couldn't think of any better gift for an Outlander fan than their very own bottle of Sassenach Spirit of Home. And with constant teasing that the next installment of the franchise is going to be the darkest yet, so get ahead of the curve and buy as many bottles as you can, because we have a feeling that reserves are going to run out in next to no time. And let's be honest, you wouldn't want to miss out on securing your own bottle before season 6 bursts onto the scene next year. Number 3. Outlander fans have noticed something about Claire and Jamie's first meeting. Last but not least, true fans have been rewatching the first couple of seasons of Outlander in an attempt to remind themselves of where their favorite characters have come from. It's a great way to kill time until season 6 finally releases early next year after all, especially since there's nothing similar to Outlander on television at the moment. But as you can imagine, this has resulted in fans noticing new and exciting things, something that is almost common when it comes to the rewatching of a season with clearer eyes. And unfortunately for Outlander, what was noticed this time around was less of an Easter egg and more of a harrowing mistake. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, head on over to Amazon Prime Video and rewatch the first scene where Claire was introduced to Jamie. It's by far one of the most important moments in the history of the franchise, as it jump-started the romance between Claire and Jamie in the best way possible. Pay attention though, as you're about to see a pretty intense continuity error. As it turns out, Jamie wasn't exactly the most careful of cast members when it came to his wardrobe. After getting on his horse with Claire and riding to the nearest settlement, he decides to put on a plaid blanket over them, sheltering the soon-to-be couple from the harsh weather of Scotland. But, as pointed out by Screen Rant, this plaid blanket was something that wasn't given enough thought by the leading man. Sometimes it can be seen draped around his shoulders, while other times it can be seen hanging below his neck. Clearly the result of Sam and Katrina having to retake scenes, but we're surprised that nobody on set ensured that the blanket would be in the same position each time that the new scene started. As we mentioned earlier, this is one of the most important meetings in the history of the franchise, so the fact that it wasn't perfect as it was supposed to be is kind of a shock. That being said, the cast and crew of the show had no idea how popular it would become, and it goes without saying, but we're sure everyone is a bit better now that a full 5 seasons have rushed by. We also find that little mistakes like these add character to the franchise, right? Definitely something you should be keeping in mind for the next Outlander quiz night. But what do you think of the latest Outlander headlines? Be sure to let us know in the comments section down below. Take care, everybody.